And while after a 6-month delay before the eventual passage of the 2018 budget, the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, is assuring Nigerians that the release of capital votes for the MDAs will commence in earnest. Mrs. Adeosun, who had a chat with Channels TV's interview program Question Time, explains that the large chunk of the budget will focus on key infrastructure in line with the federal government's policy to grow the economy.
We recognize that in order for this economy to grow, we needed to improve our infrastructure, we need to improve our capital expenditure. So one of the first things we did was increase the overall budget size and allocate a minimum of 30% to capital, because that was what was needed. And, you know, we inherited, and just by contrast, situation where for the whole federation, we only were able to spend 19 billion on roads in 2015. When you see the condition of our roads, you realize that that was completely inadequate, and that was holding back economic growth. So one of the objectives of this administration in terms of the economy was improve and increase that capital spending. So the capital spending allocation at 30% is absolutely in line with our needs. Our needs to develop, our needs to create jobs are going to be driven by addressing our infrastructural gaps. Nigerians are very sensitive about borrowing. It's a very sensitive national issue. So we have to grow in line with our execution capacity. Take China. China has massively sorted out its infrastructure in a generation. 20 years, sorted everything out. But they have a debt to GDP of 250% because they were confident that when they were borrowing that money, they were going to deliver on the road, the rail, the infrastructure. We don't necessarily, at this point in time, have that capacity, that execution capacity. So it would be very foolhardy of us to just expand the budget and say, oh, look, we're going to do massive 60% of capital projects, because it would mean additional borrowing. And then you'd have additional leakages. So what we need to do is to grow gradually. Moving from 10% capital to 30 is a 300% increase in the capital allocation. We need to improve our capacity to deliver on those projects. And as we do so, you know, as we grow into it, we might be able to increase it from 30. But 30 right now is a really comfortable allocation to capital.